Move.
Second.
Discussion. Favoring, opposed, item carries.
Item 17 is an ordinance.
Discussion. Favoring, opposed, item carries.
Item 18 is an ordinance.
Discussion.
Discussion.
Councilmember Radford.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. I looked at the 2009, and I apologize to the City Attorney's Office. I didn't have time to do this until this morning. But I looked at the 2009 ordinance, which the current RC indicates that there has been a mistake. And when I read through the 2009 ordinance, which is in fact the controlling document, I was able to determine that the ordinance specifically indicated that the contract should be an amount not to exceed $302,699.88. Nowhere in the ordinance from 2009 does it indicate that it is a 4-year contract to be distributed by X amount of money. The ordinance from the 2009 indicates that it shall not exceed $302,699.88. When I even went to the RCA, now the ordinance is a controlling document, but I went further and looked at the RCA from 2009. The RCA indicates that the amount should not exceed $302,699.88, and it indicates that the term shall be a term from 2010 to 2013. But I didn't see any indication in the ordinance which indicates that the $302,000 is not for a 4-year period. I don't see where there's a mistake being brought forward. In the RCA today, it's indicated that there should be payments equal to $100,099.96 per year, and I don't see that when I go back and look at the RCA from 1999, nor the ordinance from 1999. I simply see that the council approved a 4-year deal for $302,000 is what I see in the ordinance. I don't see that a mistake was made. Now, having said that, let me clearly go on record to say that I am not opposed to paying Mr. Mason the additional money for doing the work that the council is going to engage him to do for the term on the table. I just want to go on the record and say that I don't see where a mistake was made when you look at the governing, or the controlling document, the ordinance.
Councilmember, if I may, I'm going to ask Mrs. Cornejo to respond to that. Needs to borrow Russell's microphone.
Councilmember, the issue was not in the controlling document, but rather in the RCA. The controlling document lists out the dollar amounts that can be paid out to the consultant by month, which is $8,000. It was $8,000 and change per month, with an additional smaller amount for reimbursables. Our error was in that we multiplied that monthly amount by 36 rather than by 48, which is what we should have done. And so in the recitals, the max contract amount was listed as the $306,000 as opposed to the $400,000 amount that should have been listed. So that you're correct, the ordinance itself is not in error, other than that we failed to multiply the monthly amount by 48 as opposed to 36.
Are you referring to the 2009 RCA or the 2012 RCA?
The 2009 RCA.
Okay.
The 12 RCA is meant to add the additional money into the maximum contract amount so that there is 48 months worth of that monthly payment to the contractor instead of 36, which is what we previously approved.
Okay, I have 2 responses and I'll stand down because as I've indicated, I'm clearly supportive of paying Mr. Mason the additional money. I just want to make sure that what you recite in the 2009 ordinance, I didn't see that when I read the 2009 ordinance, and I have that in front of me. And 2, I want to make sure that we're clear on the record. And I'll ask Mr. Feldman to weigh in. Am I not correct, Mr. Felon, when I say that the ordinance is the controlling authority here, not the RCA?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I stand down. Thank you.
Councilmember Burks.
Thank you, Mayor. Let me ask this. I don't oppose paying someone who's done work. That's first of all. But I wasn't here. I would like to know more, have more information about this, because this looks like a big mistake. Maybe it's not big, but for me it's huge. Now, would you give me the history of this quickly?
Councilmember, I wasn't here either, nor was Ms. Cornejo. And the item is certainly taggable if council members have questions and want to go into the details. The issue is whether Mr. Mason has been operating under the belief that he had a 4-year contract, and all communications with him have been to that effect. The original ordinance was correct. The request for council action, which was in December with an outgoing administration, it wasn't as crisp as it should have been. And so the idea is to try to align the two. But that's the only explanation. But if you'd like a more detailed explanation, the item is certainly tagged.
Let me just tag this, and not against Mr. Mason, but just want to know more information about it.
Would you release your tag so she can ask a question?
I'll release them, yes.
Councilmember Ash.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Marta and legal. But I just have a question, and I guess this is for Marta, I guess. In the agenda briefing the other day, I think a statement was made that the finance director knew of the changes when we was preparing the 2013 budget. So I guess my question would be, if we knew of this error back in May, and council is just not being apprised of this right now, I'm just trying to wonder, at that point, why did he not notify council? Or we make the changes earlier, nothing against Mr. Mason, but it's just saying, a big monetary, because I think, he's always communicated with me on issues and things like that, so I just wanted just to get that explanation, because that was a public statement that was made, and I just want to know why it took from May to now to say, okay, council, we need you to pass this, if the error was caught back in May, and it was added already in the budget for finance, which is okay, but I'm just wondering why we're just not finding out about it now.
And the issue here is the difference between the ordinance and then the recitals at the beginning. And the recitals at the beginning. So the ordinance, the agreement was for 48 months. Finance budgeted 48 months worth of monies. Our error was that in section 4, at the beginning of the ordinance, we multiplied the monthly amount by 36 months and set a maximum cap of $302,000. So as we were paying out to the consultant, we hit that cap and realized that we hadn't put enough room in there, even though the dollars were budgeted. So it's sort of an internal mechanism issue in that we budgeted the money to pay them. The agreements were all set for 48 months, but we multiplied in error and set the cap so that it wouldn't pay out for 48 months.
Okay, so I guess the question is that we budgeted for it.
We budgeted for it originally when it was passed, the previous administration and council budgeted for it, and it has been carried forward. It's
So
really
it
a
actually
housekeeping.
was caught, and then now, okay, I got it.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Councilmember Burks has tagged the item.